Hi, I'm Dr. Celeste Owens, and this is the Good Success Movement. For those of you who are visiting this site for the first time, I'm a psychologist, a writer, and a speaker. And the reason I do this site is to encourage you to succeed just the way God intended and to obtain his good success that he talks about in Joshua 1:8. Today I want to talk to you today about something I've been thinking about for the last few weeks, and it's about the importance of finishing what you start. The reason this is so important to me is that I have some pressing tasks on my agenda that I have not completed, and I want them to go away. I want some of them I just don't want to complete at all because one, they're hard, and secondly, I have some other things that I want to do that at the moment feel much more exciting and fun to do. So I'm wanting these other things to just go away. But I realize even in thinking that is an error in my thinking. Things aren't just going to go away, that I need to learn to succeed to the finish. The only way you're going to obtain the good success that God has for you is that you learn to complete the task that you started. It's really important for you to do that. So one of the ways in which God tells us that that is important, one is by telling us that we should not make vows that we can't keep. And that is talked about in Ecclesiastes 5:5. It says it's better to make a vow and keep it than it is to make a vow and break it. So I know that when I give someone else my word, and more importantly, when I give God my word, that I need to complete the things that I've started and complete them until they are finished. Also, we learned that that is really important to God that we finish those things because he does the same thing, and we are instructed to do and to be more and more like Christ and to do the things that he did. And one of the things the writer Paul talks about in Philippians 1:6 is that he says, I am sure of this, that he who begun a good work will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. What he's saying there is that God has started a work in you, and he's started to do a very good work in you, and he will bring it to completion. He won't decide that you're not important enough, or that you're too much work, or you're too boring, or whatever it is. No, he will not decide that. He loves you so much, and he's going to complete the good work that he started in you. I want to talk to you briefly just for the next few moments about why we sometimes don't finish the things that we start. And what it usually is rooted in is fear. There are two types of fears related to not finishing what we start. One is the fear of success, and the other is the fear of failure. We learn these two types of fears very early in childhood. We usually, as adults, lean towards one or the other. So let me explain to you what they are. First of all, the fear of failure is a fear that obviously that you will fail. And how this is taught in childhood is that these type of people who grow up in these certain types of families learn very early that it is unacceptable to fail. They bring home a report or they bring home a grade that is unacceptable and is considered a failure. Sometimes it's even a grade that to other people will look pretty good, like a B, or sometimes it's even a C. Sometimes a C is the best that child can do, but they learn that a C is failure to their parents and is unacceptable. So then they start to fear the whole idea that they could fail again. So again, fear of failure. Fear of success is the exact opposite of that. These people are usually taught very early by very important people in their lives, usually their parents, that they won't succeed at anything, that they won't do well at anything, that they won't complete anything, and that they're no good. So they learn to fear success. And what they often think, even if it's unconsciously, is what will happen if I actually finish this and it succeeds? What will happen? What will I do with that? So rather than learn what will happen or what they will do with that, they sabotage their success along the way. Both of these types of fears are unacceptable because first of all, God told us in his word, he has not given us the spirit of fear. We are to fear nothing. So we're not to fear success nor failure. Another thing that we know for sure is that we learn the most from our failures. So even if we complete a task to the finish, which we should, and it doesn't end up the way we had expected it to end up, it doesn't end up the way other people expected it to end up, that's okay because there's so much to be learned from a failure. So these are things I'm going to suggest you do. If you are like me and you have these things on your plate that you need to finish, one of the things that would be really important for you to do is to go ahead and make a list of all the things that you need to complete. For some of you, that list will be very short because some of you are goal oriented and you finish the things you start. For others of you, that list is going to be quite long, and that's okay. The one thing that we're learning to do here is to acknowledge our obligations and to decide that we're going to finish what we start. Secondly, it might be important for you to write that goal or that thing that you're working on, and then write what it will look like in the end, how you want that to look in the end, and then write some incremental steps that you can take to make that goal a reality. Even if you look at it and say, I don't think I'm going to be a success at this, I don't think it's going to turn out the way I expected, that's okay. The important thing here is to finish. Also, you might talk to some people who have completed the goal that you're looking to complete, and ask them, what did you do? How were you successful at this? How were you able to finish this? And then that way you can learn some steps along the way on how to finish. Now, for some of you, if you're paralyzed by fear or paralyzed by succeeding or never or rarely complete the task that you start, you might consider talking to someone about this, or a professional counselor or a Christian counselor or your pastor or someone else you trust, to start to understand why this is the case for you and why you aren't able to complete the things you start. Because we know from the things that we've just discussed that it's important to God that we finish what we start. If you learn to start finishing some of the things that you start, or all of the things that you start, you will obtain God's good success. And that's what I wish for all of you, and wish for myself as well, that we obtain the good success that God talks about, and that we are able to succeed just the way God intended for us to succeed. So thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.